All right, welcome to the Remarkable Retail Podcast. I'm Michael LeBlanc.
And I'm Steve Dennis.
So this episode is Profitless Prosperity, which is a great title, and we'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's get into the news of the week. So earnings results coming out for October in the U.S. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing in retail results so far?
Well, a couple things. First, the U.S. Commerce released their overall sales reports. And by the way, I think we just have to keep mentioning that the media just love to talk about month-over-month results for whatever reason,
Pointless.
as opposed to year-over-year results. But the year-over-year results were pretty darn impressive. The consumer at least in the U.S., is continuing to spend pretty robustly overall. If you dive down into some of the category data, not too surprisingly, apparel, department stores had the biggest increases because they're comparing against pretty easy numbers. But the home category keeps rolling along. E-commerce or non-store, it's not exactly e-commerce, but the non-store numbers, we're definitely seeing some moderation, which is to be expected. So, really strong numbers. The thing that's really interesting to me, which I can't quite make sense of, is consumer confidence is very low. So usually you see consumer spending fairly well aligned with consumer confidence on top of, just general macroeconomic factors. So it's a little hard to kind of line up the numbers in terms of consumer confidence, but certainly with still lingering stimulus, stock market's booming, the housing market's booming. People still aren't spending as much on services. The savings rates are incredibly high. So there's a lot of kind of capacity to spend that's there. I think the willingness to spend is being driven, partially by more people going out, traveling more, going back to work. So that drives certain kind of spending. And then certainly home continues to be really robust.
Steve, we got a solo episode again together, which is great. I love our solo episodes. And by the way, thanks to all the listeners and viewers who are supporting the podcast. We're getting some great downloads and listens, and I got some great feedback this week from a very senior retailer here in Canada who loves listening to us when he barbecues, actually, and he said, we're talking barbecue, of course, and he said, listen, I love your solo episodes as much as the guest episodes. So that's a great feedback from our listeners, and thank you to our audience, and we intend to do more of both in season 4 when we get to season 4, some solo stuff and some thoughts, and we're going to be on the road and NRF, so we might do some stuff at the big show in January. So lots coming up in season 4.